Thank you, Lord.
All right, everybody. I am so happy to be out here this morning. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous day. But I wanted to go over a fun setup for this summer steelhead time frame. Opener was last weekend. We're out here chasing. Got an opportunity to be out this morning. So I want to show you two of my favorite riggings and two of my favorite setups that I love to throw these on. Really nice chrome steelhead are upon us. So let's first talk about a float setup. You guys have heard me talk about it a lot, but these velocity rods are my go-to. This is an 8'6", which I love to float fish with. It's great for smaller bushwhacking or small rivers. You can get away with a little bit smaller rod. Ideally for float fishing, anything that's a 9 foot to 10 foot is the perfect range. But this 8'6", I love it because I can do everything with it. It float fishes really well. It casts hardware really well. So that's why I love using this one and pretty much have it as a staple with me all the time. Now it's paired up with a 2500 size Diawa Lexa. Totally up to you what you want to use for a spinning reel. I like a 2500 series at a minimum. 3000 is perfect as well. This has 25 to 40 pound braid, depends on your preference. This is 25 pound of the crystal. I think it's Berkley Fireline crystal. And then I got a top shot to my float setup tied directly with some floating mono. I think this one's Bloodline, 15 pound. And I typically run about 10 feet of that floating section, which then, I'll show you here. So this comes down and is tied right directly with the connection knot. I then have a bobber stop on the line, typical float setup, a little bead, a Yakima bait corky just to help with contrast, and then your float of choice. It's one of my customs, but any slip float will work great. You can totally use a fixed float too. I like sliding because some of these pools for these summer runs are pretty deep, and if it's anything over 8 feet, I pretty much use a float slide setup. Makes it really easy. Then I'm running on this one. I got a Dave's Tangle Free of their new inlines. Absolutely love these things. And then I'm running about 3 feet a leader to a jig. So been really successful setup for a lot of years for me. In fact, if you watch this, there's a little clip here of one we just hooked. A little winter wild release, but a lot of fun either way, but a very effective, successful setup for float fishing summer run steelhead. And what's great about float setup too like that is you can fish it with a single jig, or you can add a bead dropper below where your regulations allow for it. But I've also had great success running in a dropper and really love doing that. So then secondly, what I love to do is have a hardware rod. Now, baitcaster or spinning setup, absolutely whatever your preference is. But for me, this little velocity, this one's a 7'6", has been, I almost want to call it my go-to, right? This is my go-to rod because I can twitch salmon and steelhead with it. I can throw hardware with it, and I can get into small areas because it is a smaller rod. It's great for a lot of different applications, but I love it as a little small wicked rod, as you see here. I love fishing spinners and spoons for summer runs, and a rod like this is perfect. So to showcase the wicked setup that I like to run, I like an inline weight like you see there. This is just your typical float weight. This one's 3/8 ounce. Might have to bump it to a 1/2 ounce because of the flows today. But then we got our wicked. Now I put a little Hypervis tape just for extra, but this is straight King Killer, silver and pink, a great summer run color. 7.6 rod, like I mentioned. Another 2 to 3,000 or 2,500 to 3,000 size reel. This one's a Cabelas brand, 2,500. 12-pound test mono, spooled up. Direct tie off of this, cast it, swing it through your drifts. Super effective. I mean, everyone knows summer runs love to chase. So something like this, any kind of spoon spinner, really gets them going. but my favorite is a wicked like this guy. So 2 simple setups that are very effective. Just got to cover water. Right now we have a lot of snow melt. We almost have 200% I think on our snowpack. So as we get these warm summer days, finally the river is going to continue to go up and down, and you just got to kind of play your cards. Today it's almost 10-foot height, but we've already hooked a fish. So don't get discouraged on water height, but I wanted to showcase just a couple quick setups I love to use. Now I'll change back to the float setup a little bit, because you totally can go outside of a jig. You can fish a float and a worm, you can fish a float and just a bead directly. It's all dependent on what you want to do and what you're comfortable with. I have and always bring extra stuff with me to cycle through, but I usually am starting with a jig and a float and a hardware rod to follow up as secondary stuff. I hope this helps you be successful this year. All right, guys, look at some footage from past seasons as well as the fun we just had hooking this one. Take care, guys. Fish on!
Whoa, fish on.
It is.
Hey! Go, baby. I saw that go down right as soon as I turned around. Coming up?
Yeah. First 5 casts with that new jig, dude.
Hey. Good fish.
Little winner.
They've been hot, so it's time.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah! Oh, this right here.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a little winner. Dude!
Right, Ricky's on the new jig. This is a little hand wild winter one.
Gorgeous fish. Here.
The water's cold though.
Yeah, here, just keep him in there, and I'm gonna get a close-up shot of that shrimp.
There we go, right back.
Thank you, Lord. If you guys like this steelhead fishing content, check out the other video playing above. Thank you again so much for watching as always, and we'll catch you on the water. Tight lines and fish on!